Hi there guys, welcome to another little video of the RC Whisperer. If you like my channel, if you like my content, please subscribe, please hit the like button, please share and hit the bell button. But anyways, this is just another little episode of a little bit into my personal and life and what I want to achieve with my dreams and my goals on YouTube and things like that. Thing is that my last video that I was talking about it, and I was talking about being an entrepreneur. I tended to babble on aside from that, and I was sidetracked, so I apologize for that. And but the thing is that when before I started actually knowing that I could earn money on YouTube and things like that, and actually there's one person that I mention in my videos a lot, and that's Kevin Talbot. If you don't know him, just go look him up on YouTube. He's a heck of a nice guy, and he's a heck of a RC enthusiast, and obviously he has a lot more RCs than me and things like that, and what he does is awesome, and his videos are amazing. He bashes and he does all sorts of things with RCs, and but anyways, the thing is that I asked job recruitment agencies to help sponsor me and invest for me in me, or ask them if they can maybe sponsor me or something like that, to find sponsors. Everybody pulled their hands back. Nope, we don't know anything about that, and we don't do things like that, especially for monster trucks. The thing is that I would love to drive and represent the Netherlands actually for Monster Jam and become hopefully the first Dutch person. Well, I'm not Dutch, but anyways, I live in the Netherlands, so you know, to drive for them in the monster truck industry for Monster Jam, because all you Monster Jam fans out there know that Monster Jam is the biggest and most spectacular motorsport in the world. It's bigger than Formula One, it's bigger than Rally, it's bigger than Le Mans, it's bigger than tow cars, it's bigger than Dakar and things like that. So in motorbikes, you name it, Monster Jam is the biggest motorsport in the world. But anyways, apart from that, like I said, I was trying to find someone to invest in me or sponsor me, and unfortunately I do not know people that are very wealthy that can invest in me or sponsor me, help me along my way. And I don't have friends or family that have a lot of money to help me along that way. So thing is that when I applied I just asked about certain things, you know, that for investments and sponsoring, and then someone called me and they said to me that they are not able to help me because they did not choose me. They said they see no future in that. I said, okay, well, who am I to go against that? I'm not going to disagree with them or go into a discussion and trying to convince them that otherwise. So I even tried banks, if I could lend some money, you know, but everybody said, no, if you lend money, if it doesn't work out, then you have to owe that money and you're going to have to work for the rest of your life to pay for it back, because a monster truck costs between 150 to 300,000. So, and obviously that's a lot of money, which I do not have. But anyways, apart from that, so the thing is that I came home and I nearly gave up. I sat on my couch and I was so lost and I was so bummed out, let me put it that way. And then I thought about it. Dennis Anderson, driver of Gravedigger. I've watched not a lot, but I've watched some interviews with monster trucks, and obviously Dennis Anderson is one of the most famous drivers of monster trucks within the monster truck industry, not only in Monster Jam but in the monster truck industry. And I was years ago, it was about, I don't know, about 10 years, something like that ago. I think, yeah, 10 years ago, I was just looking on YouTube, and I came across this video of advice of Dennis Anderson. Or advice, it was interview with Dennis Anderson and some advice, something like that. I don't really remember exactly how it went. But anyways, so I clicked on the video, and along the way in the interview, he was saying that you can turn your hobby into your career. So I thought about that for a minute, and I thought, well, let me just try and look it up. So I went on the World Wide Web, and I went along and I looked up, how can I earn money with my radar control car hobby? And I clicked on videos, and the first video that came up was Kevin Talbot. And I clicked on the video, I started watching it, and he was explaining some things, and I was like, okay, this seems pretty good, and along the way he was explaining on a bit of what he was doing. So then I'm actually going to put that video into this video. So Kevin, if you're watching, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to well, let's just say I'm not going to put the video up because that's against his copyright, and I'm not going to do that, so I apologize for that. But anyways, you can just go on his YouTube, and you can look up the video. I think it's on his business channel that he has that video. I'm sorry, I'm blabbering on a little too much, but my brain it's going on like a train right now, so I'm just trying to figure out certain things to say. But anyways, in the video, along the way there, he was saying, while I'm busy putting together my monster truck. I'm like, hey, what's this? He had my attention right from there. Well, in the beginning, just in the beginning of his video, he already had my attention. But then he mentioned monster truck, and then boom, I was hooked. Picked up his camera from his tripod or camera stand, and he walked a bit he walked a bit back, and he opened the door, and in the background there was the monster truck chassis that he bought. And along the way in his videos, and a few years later, he went out and he bought all the parts. And if you know him, if you watch his channel, then I'm sure that just like me, I have watched all the videos that he was building his monster truck. And I thought to myself, well, if he can do it, why can't I? But he has a lot more content. He does a lot more videos, and he does a lot more things. But the thing is that my RCs are unique, and I like showing them off. But I'm not really a camera person. Really, if a camera comes into my face, wherever I am, I shy away, because I don't find myself photo or video or camera-genic, they call it like that, I think. Anyways, but so I cower away from cameras. I'm not really a person that likes to be in the spotlight. So, but through YouTube, you have to do this, and I have to, let's just say, I have to climb that mountain. I have to climb it, but right now I'm still at the bottom. I've made a few steps, I'm slowly but surely getting there. All the RCs you've seen in my videos is that, well, not all of them, like I said in the video before this one, my Traxxas T-Max 1.5, the Traxxas T-Max 3.3, my Traxxas Summit, my Tamiya Juggernaut, and my Tamiya Humvee. Those I just bought because I love RCs, and then along the way, obviously some other RCs have come along, and then but like I said, like 4 years ago, I started learning that hey, you can earn money through YouTube. You can make a living out of it, a career, and hopefully with my RC monster trucks, cars. I've got a Nissan Skyline. I'm sure you've seen that video, the purple one with the magnets, and I made it all nice. And with my three Hummers, well, the Traspid HG. I've got the military Humvee, and I've got the civilian Hummer. You've seen them in my videos, and I've got the Tamiya Humvee, which I also tricked out completely. I worked on that thing. I built all lights into it. I built a winch onto it. I built the front and rear bumper on it, and I did a whole bunch of stuff to that. So like I said, my RCs are unique, and I did mention in one of my videos that I'm one of the world's best RC builders, and I'm sure there are a lot of people out there and a lot of RC enthusiasts that make stuff way better, way cooler than me. But hey, I'm me. I'm not much of a person that has a huge ego, but on that side, I have to have a bit of an ego. I have to also think a bit highly about myself. Because that's the thing about these. Being a business person or being an entrepreneur and things like that, you have to have certain high degrees about yourself. And I do not own all of those. How can I say it? Shoot, I'm trying to find a word for it. I'm sorry, I'm a bit lost at the moment. But anyways, I'm just trying to figure out my way in this world. Just like everyone else out there, people watching these videos and things like that. Not only me, but I've watched also other videos of other people, entrepreneurs or businessmen and things like that. I don't know, wealthy people. And like I said, I mean, I was not chosen because I don't have money. That's the thing. They want to see the money. That's the thing. People want to see money. And, well, it's not only that. People don't want to see this, but I mean, I'm not a huge guy. I'm not that good looking. And, but apparently nowadays, if you are in other words, I'm a man. I'm not gonna go on the subject with women. I'm just focusing on men at the moment. And the thing is that, like I said as well, is that I'm not a good looking person. I'm not that handsome. But if I was a big guy, huge muscles, I look good, and more confident and things like that, then people would subscribe to my channel a lot quicker and a lot a lot quicker, and or whatever's, things like that. But, they say if you're confident, then you become a lot more handsome and things like that. I've heard that from a few of my friends. They said to me, if you're confident, if you stand strong in your shoes, then you become attractive. But the thing is that now a lot of days is that people only see the outside of people. They don't know what's going on inside, what's in their heart. And I've got a good heart. Obviously, I've made mistakes. I have made many, many, many mistakes, but I've learned from them. But all my life, I've always had a good heart. I always choose for someone else. And if you watch my other videos, I have mentioned a few times that my mom passed away last year. But she's my number one fan. And she said that to me a few years ago. She said, Diggory, even if you don't make it, I will always be your number one fan. And I'm proud of you no matter what. And that stuck to me. And I want to make her proud. I want to achieve my goals. I want to achieve my dreams. How else am I supposed to do it in this world? Few people told me, you must go work. If I go work, I'm never, in my whole life, I'm never going to get 250,000 to 300,000 to only buy a monster truck. Apart from the monster truck, I need to transport it. I need sponsors. I need investors. I need parts. It's not it's not the truck itself that is expensive. It's the whole thing, obviously. You could buy 4 wheels, but what's the use of having 4 wheels just laying there, rotting away, in a corner somewhere, or just buying a chassis, or a body, the engine. You have to have everything together for it to be a whole, in order to achieve something. I mean, not only with monster trucks, with a lot of things. As well as, like I said, about certain people, they've enrolled in certain careers. To them it comes naturally. A lot of things have not come to me naturally. I had to find my way in this world. I had to really sit down and think about what I'm going to do with my life. Working in a factory, or I don't have high degrees. I do think logically and technically. I love technical stuff, and I love thinking logically. But that's not good enough. At a company I was working at, I had so many great ideas, and I put them in the idea box. They have a little idea box there. All of them were cancelled. And meanwhile, this other bloke, I'm sorry to say, but he had crap ideas. And 3 of them were approved, but they didn't do nothing with them. I also had I had one idea that was really, it was so simple, just metal plates. You had to cut out you got a metal plate like this, cut something like that away, cut a piece like that away, drill 2 holes, put it on the ground, bolt them down. But I'm not going to get too much in the details, and even that they cancelled. And then what happened to the products? Still, the bottom and the top part of the product was damaged. But anyways, apart from that, that's the thing, is that I've tried so hard. I think about other people, I think about the products, and nowadays in big companies, you're not a person anymore. You're a flippin' number. And I haven't seen my dad for many, many years, more than half of my life. But that's choices. That's the way life goes. That's the way things seem to go in life, and can't do much about it, but just live life, and just go on with it. I've tried many things in life, and a lot has not worked out for me, but I remain positive. I try to be, though. I'm not, no one's perfect, so I'm not perfect as well, but, and like I said, I've made many mistakes, more than I can count. But how like I said, just because someone's handsome, a guy or a girl is pretty or things like that, they get the most views, they get the most subscribers, just because they've got that vibe. They've got that's they it's, I don't know, how can I say it, it's just the way they look, the way they act, the way they talk, the way they do. People like that. I'm 100% me. This is not an act. I'm not putting on a mask. I'm telling the truth. I'm sharing with you guys certain things. They said, I really, really, really want to help out people and animals that are in need, that need this money to donate to charities, or just you know, if I earn a bunch of money on YouTube or whatever, you know, doing a monster truck show, and if I'm able to make a lot of money with certain things, then oh yes, I do want to donate money for people that need it and for animals. People have a choice, but animals don't. They can't speak their voice. So I would help prevent that cats and dogs and animals get euthanized, that they get a home. And I've seen many Facebook videos and pages that people do that, and I want to be a part of that. And also people helping out people, like look at Mr. Beast. His first video that made him go viral. I'm sure you guys know the video, but for those of you who don't, or you don't know who Mr. Beast is, he's the biggest YouTuber, but I'm sure I'm just talking gibberish here because obviously you guys know him. But if you don't really know the history of him, go look it up. Because he was offered $5,000, you know, for a video from someone. Said no, he wants 10. No, I'll give you 5. No, I want 10. Okay, fine, he has 10. What did he go do with that money? He didn't put it in his pocket. He didn't go and buy himself a brand new watch or fancy clothes or stuff like that. He went and gave it to a homeless person. Boom. He was in. You know, I'm not saying that someone should give me 10 grand and I'm gonna go give it to someone or whatever. You know, I mean, if I do that, then I'm only going to be copying Mr. Beast, which I don't do. I am my own way on YouTube. I bought Kevin Talbot's courses, except for the camera course, because I'm like, okay, well, you know, I can take pictures, I can make videos, you know. But anyways, apart from that, he did mention in the course is that don't copy others, just be yourself. I don't have professional stuff. I don't have a very expensive camera or whatnot. I'm just using my phone, my old phone to video. This is another phone, but this one I use to, you know, for calling and messages or whatever, you know, checking my email. And the one that I'm filming with now is one of my old phones. So, you know, and actually if you watch here, then my camera stand, I made it out of wood. I can loosen this one. I can put it higher. I can even tilt it. Oh, sorry. I need to focus here. I can tilt it. I can loosen this one. And I can screw it onto this one, or into the other two holes here, or whatever's. And actually, these I slide my phone into here, and there's a little sponge here. It holds it a bit firmly into place. And then here's my little tripod. This is a camera tripod, and a piece of wood underneath here. And then I screwed in a hole, and then I glued in a nut in there so it can screw onto here. Actually, I can show you what I did. Sorry about this. I'm just screwing it off. Yeah, there's the nut. As well as I made this at work, to screw it on. It's just 2 pieces of wood, so I can clamp it into here. And there we go. There's my camera stand for my phone. So, you know, the only thing I spent money on here was the tripod. I bought it actually at a thrift store for $2. You know, so I'm chuffed with that. And I was looking for a tripod stand. Yeah, one day I went with one of my best friends. Went to the thrift store, found one. Hoppatay, there we go. Mind you, I actually had a wooden rod. Let me show you. Sorry about that. I was just looking for it. So I drilled a hole into here, and then I tapped in a screw here, or a screw. It's a it's a sort of like a bolt, but it doesn't have a big head on it, so you can so you can use a socket or something to screw it in there. This one has an Allen key. So anyways, so I just screwed it into here, and then I use this to screw onto the bottom of my homemade camera stand, or to hold my phone in place. And then I had a PVC pipe. I slide it into the PVC pipe, and then I'd use that firstly. But it was, I made a few videos with that. It wasn't too bad, but hey, it didn't cost me anything. So I made do with what I had. And obviously, you have very expensive cameras. You got cheap cameras and things like that. I thought to myself, hey, if a phone works just as well, and you can see me, you can hear me. So, and I'm not there yet, obviously, to buy expensive cameras that do slow motion and things like that. And I just bought a simple editing program. If you see my video, so I mean you see in the title or in the description. Now, anyways, I use Movavi, so it's simple, and I'm just learning the ways how to edit videos and things like that. So yeah, just like I said as well in a few in a few things on my videos, that I'm slowly but surely I'm progressing, and I'm doing a little bit of investments and things like that, step by step, bit by bit. Like I said, I'm right now I'm at the bottom of the mountain. I'm getting all of my equipment together, and I have to put a harness on, and or I'm just using a mountain obviously just as an example, just to, or you got steps, just step by step. First step, second step, third step. I bought some books, and as well as in one of the books, it's called The One Thing, and in there they explain with the domino effect. You start with a small little domino, and then it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And as soon as when you get to the biggest domino, then if you knock it over, then but like I said, bit by bit, step by step. And but I just wish that my mom was still around to see me get even this far that I am now. And if you have subscribed to my channel, thank you very much. I appreciate it. I do a lot. I appreciate it a lot. Please help me to get me to the 1,000 subscribers or even more, so I too can grow and earn some money, so one day I can build and drive a real life-size monster truck. Because really, that is my ultimate dream, to feel that power in real life. And sorry, I'm getting just a little bit emotional, but I don't know if I will ever experience that power. There's a lot of people out there that have a lot of money and don't even know what to do with it. You got these other YouTubers. I watch all this young bloke. He wrecked his McLaren on the highway, putting people's lives at danger, and got many views for that and things like that. And a lot of people said to him, "Oh, you didn't think straight. Why do things like that?" And still he gets money for that. And that's one thing I will never do, is put people's lives at risk. Never. Even driving these radio control cars, I always make sure there's no animals or people around, because they can also do a lot of damage. Trust me, I know. Once I was driving with my T-Max many years ago, when the T-Max 1.5, when it came out, the one with the flame body. You've seen one of my videos on it, if you see my channel. And I wasn't really paying attention, because there were some kids on the right-hand side. They ran a bit close to the truck, and I told them, do not run towards this thing, because if it drives against your leg, it hurts. So as I was talking to them, I was driving the thing towards me, and I didn't pay attention. And whack! It hit me in the leg, and that flippin' hurt. And I had a, well, it wasn't really, it did hurt, of course, but I mean, I had a bit of a blue spot. I mean, it was getting a bit swollen. So I called him. I said, "Come here." I said, "Look at my leg." I said, "Look how small your legs are compared to mine. My leg is like 3 times as thick as yours. So if that thing drives into your leg, you're gonna cry, and it's gonna hurt you 3 times more." So then they knew, but then I also knew, I must also pay attention for myself. So, apart from that, also other YouTubers or people that are making videos, influencers they call them, or people that want to be entrepreneurs. I'm sorry to say this, okay? I don't want to talk down on anybody, but they make these stupid videos. They really dumb it down, and they get millions of views. They get millions of subscribers. But for us YouTubers, the real people, that are really struggling, and trying to make it in this world. So all I'm asking is a bit of your support, and I do want to make trail videos in the future. There are some complications. I'm not going to get into that because it involves one of my friends, and he's also going through a rough time. But I mean, yeah, because I really wanted to go and drive him and me, but unfortunately he does not see it the way I see it. The thing is, then I have to take 2 cars to my work, and then in the mornings, maybe for half an hour or so, we can make a little video, and then the rest I'm gonna have to do by myself. So, but what I'm gonna try and do is, like I've said that in a few videos, at work I'm gonna see if I can make a very, very cool trailer for, well, I don't know. I was thinking my Juggernaut that can pull it, because the Juggernaut has a lot of torque, and is very powerful. This thing, I don't know. It's a brushless motor, so it's also powerful, but I don't know. I'm gonna have to experiment with that, or I'm gonna use my Summit, my Traxxas Summit, because that thing has a lot of torque and a lot of power. Even though it's electric, it's this. I've got the standard version. If you watch my channel and the video on that one, I showed a video about it. And this has a standard 775 motor in it. It's not brushless. It's just the brush motor. And yeah, that thing is pretty powerful. So I'm gonna most probably make a trailer for my Summit. But the Summit uses 2 batteries, and so, and then I'll have to drive it in low gear all the time, because in high gear, if you drive it in high gear, the batteries are empty pretty quickly. So I'm gonna have to find actually a smaller area where I can just drive the Summit up to a certain point, and then unload the other car in the back, obviously most probably an off-roader, of course, or my Nissan Skyline, and then I have to drive the Summit on the road, and then find a nice spot for the Skyline to drive around there, and most probably at night, because they all have lights. Well, not all of my RCs have lights. My Ford Raptor does have lights. If you watch my video about this thing, this thing lights up so cool. And but anyways, guys, thank you again for subscribing, and thank you for watching my videos. I really appreciate it so much. And hopefully one day, soon, I said before I'm 40, when I turn 45, I would like my own monster truck, but I don't know if that's going to happen. Anyways, apart from that, thank you again for watching and for following me, keeping track and things like that. And I really appreciate it so very much, and for your support. Hey, if you know as well some friends family members that like RC stuff, you know, recommend them to my channel. That's all I'm asking. You know, just like a few other YouTubers, my 1000th subscriber, I'm giving away something very cool. I'm not saying what it is, so but when I get there, we'll see what happens. And then obviously my every 1000th subscriber, I'm going to give away something. So but for now, for my 1000 subscriber, I have one RC that I would like to give away. But and then after, you know, if I get more subscribers, get more views, and I can earn a bit more money, and then I can buy something, or, you know, doesn't have to be an RC, can be something else, you know, whatever's, or if you want an RC or things like that. But actually, one of my ultimate RCs is the Primal RC. I want to get the black Raminator, and I want to trick the thing out. Well, trick it out. Sorry, tune it up, give it upgrade parts, piggyback shocks, and most probably turn it into electric, because I mean that would be pretty cool. Or having an electric one and a gas one, but that is a different type of goal. See what happens in the future. So anyways, again, thanks for watching. Thanks for following me and keeping up with my content, and and just I hope you enjoy the ride with me. Really, I hope you do, and I'm hoping to for myself as well. I mean, I have to make trail videos, and I keep saying that and things like that, but I've got a few projects going on, and I have to get them firstly finished. I'm also a huge Warhammer fan, so I'm busy painting Warhammer and things like that, and I've got other things on the side. I love gaming. I'm a PlayStation fan, so, and I love listening to music. But one of the main things I love doing is just building RC cars, tuning them, upgrading them, and things like that. And but anyways, guys, I don't want to keep you guys too much on the screen. Thank you so much for watching. Really, I appreciate that so much from you. And well, I'm most probably gonna make a few other videos with, you know, just talking in front of the camera and just trying to be a bit more comfortable towards it, and yeah, just give you guys some content, and as well along the way with top RC tips. Oh yes, there's one thing I have noticed from a few people. They say also from there's someone this guy from the UK. He was saying that there was play in his Losi LMT 2.0 monster truck, the new one, of course. I mean, if you watch my channel, you see I've got the Son of a Digger one. But anyways, and I did mention to him, also for you guys out there, if you have play on your chassis, this is a top RC tip. Between the ball joints here and the linkages, you just take a small little piece of to be rubber tubing. What I use is hydraulic rubber tubing, because that stuff, it doesn't brittle when it gets wet, or it doesn't break very easily. So just just cut a small little one, small, something like that. Maybe 2.5, 3 millimeters. It depends how much space is in between. I mean, if you look here as well, I even did it over here. And you can see on this one here. Let me get a better shot of it. Let me get the lights on it, maybe. Oh man. There, you can see it. These blue little pieces in between there. And as well as if you look in between here, that takes away the play on the top part of the chassis. Or the top part doesn't move that much. I also did it to my Juggernaut. If you watch my video on my Juggernaut, oh, the lights here. Let me just get them out of the way. What's that? Oh, they're shining very, very brightly here into my face. Now I'm seeing all stars and things like that. But anyways, on my Juggernaut as well, in front you got your link bars, and then just over the ball joint. Like I said, you take a small little bit of rubber tubing, put it over the ball joint, click on the link, and there's no play in the chassis. That's how I came up with the idea as well. As then I did it to this one. I did it to my new one, the new purple Ford F250 Super Duty, the one that I made the wheelie bar and the front bumper for it. I also made a few videos about that, and it works perfectly fine. And it doesn't mess up with your suspension or whatever. As you can see, it spins just as much, and it articulates just as well. Let me just get a nice shot here. So you see, it shocks nicely still, nothing wrong with it. So there's absolutely nothing wrong with doing that. And like I said, it takes away the play in the top part of the chassis, so it doesn't jiggle around when you're driving with it. Because I've had this one, one of the link bars came loose even. Front wheel has even come off once. So, and unfortunately, I was filming, and I was filming with my endoscope camera and my phone on top here, and I was filming and things like that, and I did make a video about it. It was also picture in picture. One of my friend's dogs was the dog walked past the camera, but I did mention that I don't drive around with animals around, but this dog, she was so sweet. I mean, she would always go with us. Unfortunately, she passed away, and that hit me hard as well, because she was such a sweetheart. But you know, obviously, if we put our trucks aside or whatever, you know, she'd get up and she'd walk around. But as soon as we started driving with our cars again, she'd go or she'd stand behind us, or she'd lay down. You know, she knew that if she got in the way of one of the things, that she would get hurt. She was very smart. But anyways, and like I said, and then I took my camera off. I wasn't filming anymore, and then I drove with this thing a few times, and then firstly the wheel, actually it was front left. The wheel came off, and at the same time the link bar, it didn't break. There's a small little rod it has. But you screw it on, you know, in between the links here and the bolt, what do you call it? Anyways, the connection on the ball, and anyways, and in between here, I had this. It was about this long, and the thing is that I replaced them all. I went to the hardware store. I bought a long rod with a screw tap on it, and I cut it into about this long pieces, twice as long, and then I screwed them on here. So now I know that they will not, and I put Loctite on them. So now I know that when I drive it, they will not loosen that anymore, because I was bummed out about that. But anyways, and that was an awesome shot that I missed. I told my friend, I said, what the heck? Take my camera off and I would go drive a few rounds, and then on the last round the wheel comes off, the bar comes off, and oh man, that would have been an awesome shot. And as well as right here on the side where I mount the endoscope camera, and on this side I've got another 2 points here on the bottom and the top where I can mount an endoscope camera. Anyways, jeez. I've been talking for nearly 45 minutes. I'm so sorry, but I'm just, like I said, I've got an ADD brain, so it just goes on and on and on like a train at the moment. But I've got a lot to share, and I've got a lot to say. So, but anyways, guys, again, thank you so much for watching, and thank you so much for supporting me and watching my content and putting up with me and things like that. And but as well as it is absolutely no intentions of mine to put down people or whatevers. But the thing is that how come other people can get so many views and so many subscribers and make so much money off of YouTube? But anyways, I'm not going to get too much into that. Thing is that, yeah, this is me, this is who I am, this is what I am actually. Nowadays people don't really accept you for who you are, they accept you for what you are. And I bet you if I was very wealthy, if I had a $500,000 or 500,000 whatever car outside, if I had a big house, things like that, I wouldn't need YouTube. I wouldn't need certain things, and I could have bought my own property, could have buy my own monster truck, and I wouldn't have to worry about anything. But if you watched my video before this one, like I said about what I wanted to do career-wise, is that because of my ADD brain, I have learning disabilities, unfortunately. But that's not going to stop me. Heck no. So anyways, I'm going to say, see you guys in the next video. Take care, stay safe, have fun out there on the RC trails. See you guys in the next video. Bye, see ya.